Uh, Good evening, everyone. This is Colonel VD Singh once again. And in the past, we have been generally dealing with the topics about audio as such. So, like in my previous session, I was talking about the desirable characteristics in a singer, what all you should be avoiding, what and how do you ensure that your sound comes out well on Android. Now, today, I'm going to tell you something about audio mixing. You see, all of us in our own way we keep experimenting with the recording, but that experimentation with recording is confined, within the Android as such, or just using the microphone of your laptop. So, audio, what is exactly audio mixing all about? Mixers are Audio mixers are primarily used in different environments. What are those environments? In a concert, which is known as live, in a recording studio, like I'm sitting in a recording studio, for broadcast audio. These days, the term broadcast is also synonymous with podcast on various topics, and for films and televisions. Audio mixer is one such gadget which is very, very handy and which is almost an inescapable requirement. So, like it comes in analog form or digital form. In recent years, mixers have started coming in this digital format also. Otherwise, primarily, even now, like, excuse me, I'm using an analog mixer with the digital effects, sound effects, which will be clear to all of you, in next few minutes or so. So, what does an audio mixer do? It basically does two functions: to make sure that the multiple inputs sound good together when mixed, and overall output which comes out from the mixer, it sounds great to the guests at your event. So the term mixer means it is mixing various inputs, like input coming in from your computer, from the microphone, or if you're a musician, you have connected a guitar, you have connected a keyboard to your mixer, and the ultimate the output which is coming out as left and right, L or R output, is the one which is which you can control in terms of how much volume you want for each channel or for each instrument. So mixer is almost an inescapable requirement these days. Now in this session, I'm taking example of 12 input audio mixer, which is very, very common, which has got bass, treble, volume, balance, panorama control, which is known as pan control, with which you can balance sounds from various sources. For capturing the sounds from various sources, your audio mixer employs from starting from 2 microphones, going up to 8 microphones in most cases. However, in big studios, you have mixers which have got 64 channels, also even more. Now, this is a schematic diagram. Don't get confused with the complexity of this diagram. Just for an example, down below, you see there's a mixing console, and in this mixer, various things are connected. Like if for input, this guitar has been connected, keyboard has also been connected, microphones are connected, and the output coming out from this, it can go to the main amplifier and finally to the speakers. So your audio mixer is getting various inputs in the form of microphone or various instruments, mixing them. Now this mixing is a technique and an art both, and finally it gives out the audio output in the form of left and right signals. The mixer which I am using in my studio, unfortunately, I can't lift it and show it to you. So I have clicked a photograph of this audio mixer. I'm using a Behringer uh, Zenix 1202 FX. This is the model, and very common model. Most of the studios, I'm talking about home studios, are having this kind of a mixer. So this is the top view. I've actually clicked the photograph of this mixer. Very compact mixer. It hardly weighs, under 2 kgs, and it has got various microphone inputs and other inputs. And these are the various controls. And the final, this fader thing is here, which is called, the final volume or the master volume. Now the back side of I will show you the top view. This is the back view of this audio mixer. Very simple. It doesn't have anything else but power. So it comes along with an adapter. AC power is fed into this, and then it gets switched on. This is a clearer view. This is actually a diagram of this mixer. So because from photograph it was not very clear, in the diagram you can have a look this at this mixer. So broadly you can divide it into two parts. The upper part has got various inputs and also outputs. The lower part has got channel strips. These are known as channel strips. So it has got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. It's a channel. It's a 12 channel mixer along with a built-in preamplifier. So it builds up the desired signal strength of audio input which is coming into it, and from the main out it goes to the amplifier and then to the speaker. So these vertical, you can easily make out that these have been set in a vertical kind of a format. These are known as strips. Now let's look at the upper half of audio mixer. So I've blown this section for your better viewing. So in this, you are seeing these black sockets. These are female sockets, which are actually known as XLR. XLR basically stands for extended left and right. So it has got 3 pin. This is known as XLR. This has got female input for line in. So line in and mic in, subtle differences there. I'll tell you. It will be clear in your mind. Down below each, we have got gain control. Gain, as the name suggests, gain means gain of signal, which is coming into it. Then these are all various, inputs kind of a thing. And then you have the main out, audio out, left and right. Phones, that means, see, I'm using headphones basically to monitor whatever is being fed into this. I'm also listening to that. Then it has got a special port that is FX end. That means any external audio effects, if you have got, you can connect into this. This is the bottom portion of the mixer. Bottom portion of the mixer, as I told you previously, it has got channel strips. Each channel strip has got equalization or EQ control, which basically takes care of a broad spectrum of audio in terms of high, medium, and low, which can be controlled by turning these knobs. These are rotary kind of knobs. You can turn them from left to right, left to right, left to right. When you put them into 0 position, they remain neutral. So these are indicated with blue color. The red colored one are known as effect control effects. That means it has got, most of the mixers have got built-in digital signal processor or DSP. So this section gives you various types of digital signal processing in terms of reverb, early reflections or delay, and then you can also vary your pitch and various other things you can play around with the. For example, I have when you're listening to my voice has got a certain amount of reverb, as if I'm speaking in a hall. How does this sound come out? It is because I've introduced little bit of sound effect in my channel, in which I, in the channel, this channel strip, like I'm using channel strip number 1 for microphone, and I use other channels to feed in the line in. I'll just show you. Uh, in order to uh, make my presentation more and more effective, I make use of subtle background music. It is possible because I'm using an audio mixer, very subtle. So while I'm talking to you, it doesn't really sound, the session doesn't sound monotonous. So I've introduced little bit background music, which is coming out of my computer and being fed in one of the channel strips. In this case, channel strip number 2, channel number 2. So in audio engineering, a fade is a gradual increase or decrease in level of audio signal. Fade is also known as volume. And to control this, you have got faders, which are placed at the bottom of the mixing console, as I had shown you, as rotary knobs or as sliders. See, the bottommost portion where these white top things are seen over here, they control the level or the volume or they fade. So these are the faders. In certain mixers, these faders also come in form of this, which is here, in this case, the master mix, one slider is here. So in certain bigger mixers, you, instead of rotary knob, you have got sliders. Uh, Both gain and levels, they refer to the loudness of audio. Now, gain is the input level of clips and volume is the output. So with the gain, you are actually controlling the sensitivity of input. For example, I am actually sitting about 12 inches away from the microphone. You can't see the microphone because it's far away from me. But you are able to listen to my voice because I've increased the gain of my microphone. I have not increased the volume of micro, but I've increased the gain. So the signal sensitivity gets enhanced when you increase the gain. So in simplest term, gain determines the initial volume of the instrument before processing, which is to say that loudness of the signal from your guitar or the input or any kind of input. Uh, the gain which I'm using for the music, which you are listening right now, is very less. I don't have to have a very high gain for that. So I have put the volume control or the fader at a minimum level and gain also at a minimum level. But in case of microphone, I have to increase the gain because I'm sitting at a distance from the microphone. So the input, that is my voice, which is going through the microphone, is audible. If I decrease the gain of my microphone, you won't be able to listen to my voice. In that case, I will have to come very near to the mic. Then there's another thing which is known as pan or panning. It is a distribution of an audio signal, left or right. You can literally set the image of audio left or right, because when we talk about the output of sound, it is always in terms of left and right hand output. So like it's very useful, especially when you're doing music. When you are doing audio, then this panning has to be centered. That means whether you're listening to my voice from left speaker or the right speaker, the amount is the same. In case of certain other instruments, you would like to set the image in a proper stereophonic scenario. you can increase or decrease pan. That means panning is either to the right, either to the left, or in the center. So a typical physical recording console has a pan control for each incoming channel, and it is also known as pan pot, panning potentiometer. It's an analog control with a position indicator which can range continuously from when you uh, rotate it towards left, it goes into 7 o'clock position, and rightmost is 5 o'clock position. Then we have something known as EQ, stands for equalizer. It's a sound engineering tool that adjusts the output of different frequencies, and I have shown you, like it divides into three kind of levels: high, medium, and low. So it allows you to cut or boost levels of specific frequency ranges, thus enhances a particular range of frequencies so that it sounds good. The whole idea is that it sounds good. That's why I told you in the beginning, using a mixer is definitely an engineering part, but it is also a very very artistic use of using this particular tool. So audio mixing is an art as well as a technique. For example, in a low, where you want to control the lower part of a frequency, that is the bass, which goes to, in the 80 hertz range. You can do that. You can also get into the middle range, which is 2500 hertz, or higher, which is 12,000 hertz, which is known as treble range. So bass is on your left, treble is on your right. Always, whenever you talk about the different frequencies, just imagine a huge a piano. Piano has got 88 keys. So on the leftmost, you have got very very thick sound, and the rightmost key has got very very high pitch voice. So left portion is known as bass, the middle portion is of course mid, and the higher level is known as treble. So musically speaking, balance is the relative level of two or more instruments or voices or different types of sounds in either a live or recorded mix. As through in a mixing board or the mixer, it is achieved by placement of musicians in a hall. You are when you are recording, you have connected various microphones to your mixer, and there is a physical presence of various artists in the studio or in the hall. Somebody is holding a mandolin, somebody who is holding a small bongo, the other chap is holding a guitar, and they all have microphones in front of them. Some instruments are electric instruments, they don't need microphones, so they are straight away connected to the mixing console. But all these sources, their levels can be controlled, and thus an optimum balance is achieved. And whatever comes out from your speaker, if it is sounding good, that means you have done a damn good audio mixing. If it is jarring or distorted, then you need to take corrective measures. Then there are certain advanced types of audio mixers in which compression is used. The word is compression, literally means compression. It reduces to the dynamic range of an audio signal. Some signal is going very high, it clips that. Some signal is very very low, it brings it up to an audible level. So it's a kind of an automatic level, automatic volume control, which turns down an audio signals level when it is getting too loud. On the other side, when it is too low, it basically brings it down. So this is the job of a compressor, which is a very very, it's an advanced stage. Obviously, you cannot start using compression as a novice. You have to learn, because compression by itself is a huge chapter, which we may discuss in the next few episodes. So let's start at the beginning. You have laid down some rhythm part and some vocal part, and and now it's time to make the arrangement feel like a song. What do you do in a song? You have got certain instruments, you have got vocal artists, female singer, male singer, and so they are all separate entities by themselves, and you want to basically mix them and produce a good output. This is where a mixing engineer comes in. For your kind information, I must tell you that audio engineering is a course by itself. This course is run by various institutes. Amongst the government institutes, I think I know about FTII, that is Film and Television Institute of India, which is in Pune. Another institute I think is in Chennai, and it's a proper 3 years course. It's I think they give you BSc degree in audio engineering and production. But there are people like me also. I don't hold any degree in audio engineering. It is sheer experience. I've grown up with music, and I was fortunate enough to get access to various studios where I picked up nuances of audio engineering. Audio engineering is a very paying job these days. I mean, people who hold degrees in audio engineering, they are known as audio engineers or mixing engineers. They get handsome salary. So it's the job of a mixing engineer to balance all the tracks and do whatever it makes to feel you a good sound, cohesive sound. So in that, the engineer knows his job, how to do equalization, compression, panning, and setting certain special effects like reverb, echo, and things like that. And the engineer also ensures that there are no clashes between the instrument. This is achieved by way of equalizing. When you set the equalizer properly in an optimum way, you ensure that there is no clash between two instruments, although they may be sounding very close to each other. So in some cases, they might even layer drum hits with samples from the outside the session or mute redundant instrument parts. Sometimes when the audio engineer is recording a drumming session, a drum has got number of things. It has got bass, it has got snare, it has got tom tom, then cymbals are there, a number of things. So approximately 8 to 10 microphones are set on a single drum set, and you can imagine it's a Herculean task for an audio engineer. When you listen to a good music, you must in your heart almost thank the mixing engineer. Of course, you have to thank the artists who are playing, but how is that sound reaching you? That sound is basically reaching you because of the mixing technique. it, the sound mixer has mixed all those sounds in an optimum fashion. There's a mixing engineer who's sitting over there, and he has done it, and the final output goes into recording, whether you are producing a CD or recording it on a cassette or a live session. Mixing engineers, they equalize instruments to shine over other instruments. Basically, uh, is the one and the same thing, that the it one instrument does not spill over to the next one, and each instrument having its own characteristics. Like you have got blowing instruments, then woodwind instruments, woodwind like flute, brass instruments. So they have got their own range of frequency, and as far as possible, the sound engineer wants to produce the natural sound as is being received through the microphone, because these inputs are coming through the microphone and other that line in channel in electrical signals, and those signals have to be handled in such a way that when they ultimately go out, it should sound as natural as possible. This transitions us to a mix engineer's second function. That is, he also serves for the emotional impact of the song, to bring it to life. You give them any number of tracks, and they give you a cohesive song. Sometimes a song touches your heart. Why does it touch your heart? One is the melody itself, which of course is the job of an artist. The greater picture, which generally goes unseen, is the role which is played by the engineer. He engineers the tonal quality, the texture of the sound in such a way that it sounds very pleasing to your ears. It's not jarring at all. It's very smooth, and it gives you a good feel. That's how. For example, the background track which is being played over here. Uh, this is my own composition known as Kalamrit. which I composed few years back when I was posted in Ladakh. And so I have done the recording part, but how do I ensure that it sounds good to the audience or to the listeners? That is the job of a mixing engineer. That that emotional connect should be established immediately when you listen to the song, whether it's an instrumental song or a vocal song. In a studio, you find you know consoles which are like this, very very colorful. They come up with green light or red light or warning lights and things like that. So a soundboard or a mixing console has got inputs, it has got channel acquisition, it has got auxiliary channels, and it has got channel faders. Now this is the thing which I was talking about, because I've got a smaller mixer. So it has got rotary knobs. Otherwise slightly bigger mixers I have got sliding. These are all one and the same thing. Instead of rotary knobs, they are, if you bring it up, bring it down, you increase the volume, decrease the volume. Some of I was able to capture certain photographs of old mixers have been there for decades. If you listen to any filmy song and all that, no song is possible without using a mixer. In a huge studio where you've got 10 musicians or even 250 musicians or 300 musicians, like Shankar Jaikishan used to have 250-300 instrumentalists बैठ के. So you have got those things are possible just because of mixing. So this is a mixer which was very much in vogue during 80s, and it looks like a beautiful piece of furniture. ये slanting किया गया, but this is basically to achieve ergonomy, so that if it is lying flat, it's very difficult for the audio engineer to look. So these channel faders are over here. The rest of the controls are like this, and they've got level meters which are known as volume unit meters, VU meters. This is another photograph from one of these studios, which was perhaps clicked. As I look at various items over here, there's a telephone also, and there is a tape recorder here also. So this particular mixing thing is during the time of late 60s or early 70s. So as the technology changes, things become more compact and more colorful. This is a very simple mixer which has got limited channels, just 2 channels, and one more channel is there. Now this is I think 12 channel mixer, which is a bigger one. And most of these mixers are they are fixed into a wooden cabinet just to give it a good appearance. A modern kind of a studio will look something like this. Mixing console, there's a guy who is sitting over here with his back towards us. He's the mixing engineer, and in front of him there's a glass window. On the other side of glass is the recording chamber where musicians or vocal artists they sit. So there's a physical separation between the control room where this audio engineer is sitting, and the other room where recording is being made. And this is soundproof. I mean, if you speak from here, no one can hear your voice on the other side. For that, there's a separate mic from control room to give instructions to the artists who are sitting on the other side. It's another typical scenario of using digital equipment. There's a huge screen. The home studio is something like this. My home studio looks something like this. Of course, a little messy. This is my own studio, which is a Padarth Studio, and I launched this studio in the later part of 2009. So it's more than 12 years, and I've again, the main thing is a mixer. Various other instruments like keyboard has been attached to it. Then there is a launch pad. It's a digital equipment, and then I've put these monitor studio speakers. So they're there. This is me, in a very couple of recording sessions where I recorded, and of course I was controlling it also. So now this brings us, to conclusion of part one.